Hello, and thank you for clicking on this video. So I wanted to ask you, does it seem like the same thing keeps happening? So I definitely wanted to bring this up. I know I mentioned it in a previous video, but didn't really ask you, does it feel like the same thing keeps happening? Okay. Um, I I've heard it throughout my life. Some people say, "Well, this keeps happening to me," or "This keeps happening to me." Um, so I wanted to bring it up and hopefully give you a different perspective on why, and and what seems bad may be a blessing. Okay, so of course, like I said, if there's something that in your life, it could look different on the outside, but it's like maybe relationships or jobs or what family things or whatever. um does it seem like the same thing keeps happening? It could be many different things or situations, that we each have our own things that we deal with. But if the same thing keeps happening, then you really need to focus on it. Now, this is the thing: is like naturally, we try to avoid pain, we try to avoid difficult situations, we try to avoid headaches, and we see it as nothing good. We see it as only painful and trouble and all that, right? Well, I mean, sometimes it's only through the painful things that we really gain perspectives and learn certain things because we're forced to look at them, okay? And if the same thing keeps happening, you have to kind of really look at it. Are you ignoring it? Are you trying to bury it? Are you trying to avoid it? Or maybe you're doing the same thing that's causing that. Um, if it feels like you're facing the same thing, no matter what, there's probably something there you need to change, or a lesson you need to learn. So you have to kind of look at these things as not just, oh, this bad thing keeps happening to me, or this keeps happening to me. You have to look at it as another opportunity to gain gifts, wisdom, confidence, experience. And the thing is our perspectives really determine how painful things are. In many cases, not all cases. Of course, if I'm in a car accident, I'll be very painful, probably. But I'm talking more like mentally and emotionally. All the baggage and stuff that we put on ourselves. And I've kind of mentioned before, like on the video, is the glass half full or is it half empty? And when we see things as just bad things happening to me, it really brings you down. But this is the thing: nothing happens. God doesn't allow anything to happen unless there's an expected end that's good. And what that expected end is what you take from it after you're through it. So you have to face it. So if same thing keeps happening, you're probably not really facing it. You're just trying to do the minimal as possible to get past it. But you can't get past it unless you go through it, okay? Um, or it'll keep coming up. I know I've had things in my life where this has happened, and I see now that it was like, all right, I'm presented with this opportunity to really overcome something, and I'm just trying to avoid it, okay? Um, if that makes sense. But really try to look at those situations or those things as it's an opportunity, even though it might be painful, even though you don't want to go through it and all that stuff. That's why you have to try to really humble yourself, and you have to trust in God. And He is the rock, because He knows everything. And we don't. We have a limited perspective. So we don't know what will happen, what we'll gain, the way we'll feel once we go through it. Okay? And we don't know the chain reaction of events that it will lead to, but God does, and He loves you. If you exist, He loves you, and so He's only gonna allow it if it has an end that's good. Now we have free will, so sometimes we choose the painful things just to complain about them. I've heard, sometimes people want drama in their life, and usually it's because they don't really know how to act unless there's drama in their life. And so, maybe the lesson in that situation is to learn how to live without drama, learn how to live without being drama, causing unnecessary stress and issues that don't benefit you at all. So anyways, I wanted to bring this up because I know I've heard people throughout my life say, "Oh, and this keeps happening. Why does this keep happening to me? Why does this keep happening to me?" Well, it's because there's something there for you to gain, but you have to face it first of all, not avoid it. Yeah, and to face it, I mean you have to be truthful and you have to be honest, and it can be painful because we may have to admit things about ourselves. We might have to admit that we've been thinking about things or doing things wrong. But don't be snared by that, because when you realize those things about yourself, you can grow and then you get stronger. But once you overcome something, then it's not painful anymore, and it doesn't keep happening because you overcame it. But the way to do it, though, is you really have to humble your ego, and you have to really put God first and trust God and involve God. Okay? And it's not easy. It is not easy. But anything worthwhile is not easy. And I would say gifts that we have for eternity is pretty worthwhile. It's way worthwhile more. Like, just think about, what would you do for $1 billion? What would you do for, I don't know, a $10 million mansion or whatever? What would you do for that stuff that's temporary? So just think about, gifts that are eternal. Okay? What should you be doing for gifts that's eternal? Now, we all make mistakes. We all, have to fight our ego and humble ourselves and that sort. And every day has its own trials. Every choice you make is a big one, no matter what the man's measurement says about it or this world says about it. That's what we're here to do, is to use our free will to learn lessons and get stronger through experiences. But you have to face them. You have to face them head on, not to try to avoid them, or they probably will end up coming around. And again, it may look different on the outside, but really what it's about is the same thing. It's the same thing. So I want to bring this to your awareness, because if you really want it to end, you have to really involve God and help Him guide you, humble yourself, and be authentic and truthful. And you may have to change something about yourself. Or maybe it's just another perspective, a different way of thinking that you need to gain, because the way you're thinking is keeping you in an illusion. Okay? And just a side note, illusions, like hanging on to illusions and lies, is painful. But when you identify with them, sometimes it's hard to let go of them. But that's why you have to really know truth and know that you are a child of God. You are a creation of God. You are eternal. Okay? You're not your physical body. You're not your physical possessions. You are your choices, really. Your desires, your thoughts, your feelings, your morals, your ethics, the things that we don't see. Because everything we do see with our physical eyes is temporary. It's death, and it won't be here forever. But they're tools to use. They're tools to use to, again, to benefit us, really, for eternity and who we really are, not this physical body and all that stuff. not our ego, not that stuff. So anyways, so I want to end this here, but I wanted to ask you, like, and you can comment below, please. Like, is there something that seems like it's like you say, why does this always happen to me? Or something that's like, this is happening again, like again. I like, in my life, I'm facing something like that right now. Um, and it's God's positioned the situation in a way that I can't get away from it. I have to face it, but I have seen myself get stronger. There's definitely peaks and valleys, and in my my will, in my clinging to God instead of just acting out of ego. Um, and we're all going through something, but I wanted to bring this up because the only way to end the repetitiveness of the same thing is to face it. Okay. So please comment below if you're facing something like that, or what thoughts on what I've said here. Of course, questions in the comments below. And subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Ring-a-ding-a-ling that bell for notifications to let you know when I upload videos. And as always, stay strong and God bless.